and welcome back to JJ's Baker House. I'm Ginny and I have been thinking. I made the method for the black buttercream and for the red buttercream, and I worked out that if you heated the black and the red Sugarflair, it gave you a guaranteed really deep colour compared to all the other methods out there. And then I was thinking to myself, every single time I'm making buttercream, I am whipping that butter to try and get white. And obviously I need to whip that butter because that's what dissolves my icing sugar. So I don't want to not do that. But I was thinking, how do I get truly white buttercream? And I just had a mad thought. And I thought, well, if I've done it with dark, I wonder if I can do it with light. So here we are. Let's try it. So I've got Sugarflair extra white, and same as what I've done before, half a teaspoon. I don't know if this is going to work, we're just going to try this together and we'll see. Right, half a teaspoon on the butter, same as I've done with everything else. Butter's hard, but it doesn't really matter because it's going into the microwave. And we are going to then melt this in the microwave and see where we are. Use this spoon when you take it out to give it a stir around. Don't forget that the Sugarflair kind of smokes when we start heating it, so only let it go for around about 15-20 seconds, open it up and give it a stir around to get it incorporated so that kind of smoking thing stops happening. So let's get it in the microwave and I'll be back. Okay, right, I'm not completely white, I haven't completely melted it yet, so it's not activated fully, and the reason for that, I want to add half a teaspoon of titanium dioxide. So titanium dioxide is, you can add a teaspoon per 5 or 6 grams. So in here I've got 200 grams, so I could add more. And also it likes heat to activate, so I might just put that little bit more in. There you go. That was 3/4 of a teaspoon of titanium dioxide and a half a teaspoon of Sugarflair extra white. So we're going to heat these in the microwave now to a complete and utter just melted liquid. I'll be straight back. Okay, so I've melted all that, and as you can see at this moment it is extremely yellow. So it's not crashed that colour down as the black would have gone immediately black and the red went immediately. So I'm not giving up hope with this. I'm going to put it in the water bath. I am going to bring it back down to its form and mix and whiz it up, and I think then it's going to really activate and bring that white down. So I'm going to grab the water bath like I did in the red tutorial, and we're going to crush this temperature right down. Okay, so you're probably wondering, I ran out of ice and my daughter doesn't like the ice lolly, the purple ones, so I've used those instead at the freezer, and it's freezing cold, so where there's a will, there's a way. Okay, so I've put obviously a jug. I always put it into a jug just because I want to make sure that the water can't get inside of this, and I'm just going to stir it. So about every 30 seconds or so, scrape around the outside, scrape along the bottom. And the temperature of this around the outside is going to hit it, you're going to scrape it, put it into the middle, and it's going to take about 15 minutes, and it's going to be at the right consistency, and that saves hours of waiting for it. Also, butter, when it comes back together, it separates because you've changed the structure of it. This way you're manually putting it back in together to stop that separation from happening. So I'm not going to make you watch me do this on camera because it's dull and not much fun. So I will keep going like this until I get the consistency that I want. So I'll be back with you when we're where I want to be. See you soon. Right, this has come to the temperature that I want it to be. Let's get rid of that. Right, so it's quite pale. I mean, for butter, it's still a lot paler than what it would be at this point. So now, I'm happy with this consistency. Okay, so I'm going to put this into my mixer. Now I was stirring that about every minute for about 15 minutes, and that combined really nicely. It's really creamy now. I manually put it back in so the separation issues weren't there. Right, so just trying to get all of it out, not putting it all over the unit. And then we're just going to whisk and whisk and whisk this up until it's light and fluffy. I know it looks fluffy, but it's not where we want it to be. So, right, in that goes. Whoops. And we'll let this go on a medium to high speed. So I won't do that on camera, it'll be really noisy. And I'm going to let that go there on medium to high for around about 3 or 4 minutes. I've got a creaming paddle. If you don't have a creaming paddle, just stop about every minute and a half, scrape it down, let it go again, and we're going to go for about 4 minutes on this. Okay, that's 4 minutes. Look how white this is. Wow. So, it's never gone white like that before with just, oh look at that, so happy with that, super white. Right then, so now it's time to add the icing sugar, so my usual way, 1/3 and 1/3. So just to hit you with the measurements of the ingredients of this, I will be putting them in the comments box underneath. But I've got 230 grams of unsalted butter, and then I've added obviously 3/4 teaspoon of titanium dioxide, which sounds awful, but it is on most things if you look in it. I've also added a 1/2 teaspoon of the Sugarflair extra white, and then I've got 500 grams of icing sugar, and I will be adding a 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla to this as well. So I'm just going to get a clean tea towel to pop over the top of this, because otherwise I'm going to get covered. So give me 1 sec. Right, tea towel, lowest speed, always the lowest speed now. We've whipped it up really, really fast, and we've put all that lovely air in it, which is what we needed. But if we whip it any faster now with this, it's just going to get air pockets in it. So we're just doing it smoothly and slowly. Right, so as this is going around there, once it's just become incorporated and it's come out and it looks like buttercream for the moment, we will then add the next part of this. So that's looking really, really good there now. It's just come through looking like buttercream, so I'll show you. There we go, so it's looking really good. So add the next 1/3 of this. And the tea towel again. There we go. And let that go. And whilst we're waiting for that, we're just going to go over and boil the kettle in case we need some more water. Right, okay. Slightly look like it was struggling then, but if you just leave it, it will work its way through. That's my kettle going, so as soon as that's boiled, I'll be straight back to you. Right, I'm just going to add my vanilla now before I add the next lot. So I'm going to add a 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla there, and then that's just going to give that the chance just to become a little bit more liquid in there whilst we put the last lot of this in. Okay, tea towel again. Now obviously if you haven't got the creaming paddle, you would have had to scrape down in between all of these, but my creaming paddle is nicely scraping it all off the sides of the bowl, so I don't need to do that. Okay. Right, that little bit of vanilla really did help. So now, as it's going around there, I can see it's kind of having a little bit of a struggle. I'll just get rid of the last bit of my vanilla into the water. And I'm going to add a teaspoon of boiling water to the mix. Now if you're in a hot country and it's not sticking and it's not really thick, there's no need to add this. So all that's doing there is just, the heat will loosen it off that a little bit quicker, and it allows it all just to come together a lot better. Now it's still looking quite tough, so I'm just going to add one more. There we go, that's plenty. So I've added 2 teaspoons, again, only if you need to. And now that's looking absolutely beautiful. Just going to scrape these sides down. So when you lift this here, it's just looking so nice. Now it has turned a little bit, I don't know if it is turning a little bit of a different colour or it's my lights. So, but when I've done the black and the red, I have left it for that colour to develop. So I'm going to give this white, even though it's looking very white, I'm going to give this white also the very same chance to develop. So, just give this another go round for about another 2 minutes, just to completely loosen off. And then we're going to pop it into a bowl and we're going to leave it on the side just to settle for about 2 hours, and I'll come back to you and we'll have a look and see what it's done. Right, okay, this is really lovely now, it's really smooth. So I'm just going to take it and put it all into this bowl. Now it is a lot whiter than I would have ever got before. Here we go. Now whether this develops any more, I'm not sure. So what we're going to do, sorry, we just put that in my sink. What I'm going to do is we're going to pipe one of my cupcakes here with it, and then in 2 hours time we'll pipe another one and we'll be able to see whether it needs that time to develop or whether this is just as white as we're going to get it. But it is a lot whiter than I would have managed to get before, even with whipping a lot. So I'm going to pop a little bit of this into the piping bag. Just grab a spoon. I'm not going to put a nozzle on it or anything because I'm really just doing it for a test purpose. So just put some in there like that. A little bit more. There we go. And as usual, it's a gorgeous consistency with the way that we have made it. Doing the same as I usually do, so we just let the air out through the bottom and the top, and then just push it all through and push it down, and that way then you're not going to get any air pockets in your bag. Twist it around, and then we're going to cut off the bottom. Okay, so I'm just going to do a swirl here. It's lovely. And that is so smooth and extremely white. So I'm really pleased with that. That's really nice. So we will take some more later and see if it's managed to get any brighter. So I'll be back to you soon. Okay, it's a couple of hours later. So here is our white. And let's have a little look at this. I'm going to get a different spoon. And move this around and see how we're going. It's still a nice consistency there. I think we're lighter than I would normally be. It's very difficult as well when I've got such a white unit, because you're never going to get pure white, but this is certainly a lot whiter than I would have had before. So it's certainly worked. Oh, as I'm stirring it there, it's really lightening down. That's really nice. Okay, let's put some of this in a piping bag. Pipe some out so that you can see. Just wipe my hands there. Right. Okay. So let's take a spoonful. I redid that one earlier because we didn't like not using a pipe and nozzle. So that's probably why you could thinking that looks very different, because off camera I just changed it. Right, let's just make sure all my air bubbles are out of this one. Excellent. Yep, they're out. I had my boiling water to one side if I needed it, but I don't. Let's move all this in. Right, cupcakes on the side here. Pick 2 of those. Right then, and let's do this so you can see. Oh, it's really smooth. Oh, the colour on that is so nice. That's a really nice, and I can see the difference. There is a slight difference between the 2 of those. It's lighter, so it did need that couple of hours just to work. Now that's the extra white doing the job there. The titanium dioxide works instantly with the heat. Now the reason that we've added the titanium dioxide to the butter is because you can't put water near butter because it doesn't penetrate butter. So I would have only been able to add that right at the end and it wouldn't have heated it enough. So that's why we did it that way, in the same method as what I did with the black and with the red. So here we go, this is my method on how you can get really white buttercream. Just looking across there, there is a difference between these, you can tell. These are really lovely and white. I'm so happy with these. And this now is the method I will always be using to get white buttercream. So I hope it's been really useful for you and I hope to see you soon. Any questions, just pop them in the comments box and I'll be straight there with you. Okay, I'll see you soon. You take care. Bye bye.